Oh, hello. T-Fight from Tecnifibre 305S 2025. Wow, what a game changer. And in today's video, I will show you why this racket is so good. But there is one point that might little bit make the review quite spicy. But before I get into the review, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you like the video, make some donation, it would be fantastic. There is a super thanks button, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee platform, Stripe. All the links are below in the description of the video, and you can join my club, my membership, for just 99 cents per month, and you will receive all of these big reviews like this one week prior to the public release. And now, without further hesitation, let's go for the T-Fight 305S 2025 Ultimate Review. Let's go.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line!
Hello tennis guys, and welcome to my channel. So this is my ultimate review for the new Tecnifibre T-Fight 305S 2025 tennis racket. And here are the topics I want to talk about. So the first topic, why is this racket a game changer? Next, design, parameters plus technology, power, precision and control, spin, feel and touch, manoovrlbity, comfort, baseline plus serve, volleys plus stability, one warning point, other options, and final verdict. So without a further hesitation, let's dive into the ultimate review. So the reason why this racket is such a game changer in the Tecnifibre's T-Fight line of rackets is the fact that they have changed the balance of the racket from 325 to 315 millimeters. So that's a full 1 centimeter that truly changes how you control, how you maneuver the racket, and it is a lot easier compared to the previous generations, which were, by the way, one of the best rackets on the market, but for most of the intermediate and even some advanced and good level players, they were quite unusable in a, let's say, long term. So this new change of the balance is the is the biggest one that changes how you feel and how you play with the racket. So let's jump into the design, and design is this time the state-of-the-art design thanks to the glossy finish. So once again, we have mostly white racket with some of the red and blue details on it that emphasize that this racket is made by a French company based in France, the Tecnifibre. So I really like the new design with the glossy finish that gives once again the racket a premium feel like it was with the Gravity series. When we look at the specifications and technology, the racket stays the same, but only the balance is changed from the 325 to 315 millimeters. And also this has an impact on the overall swing weight, which is now around 320. I have measured with the Tecnifibre Razor Soft 1.25 exactly 320. According to Tennis Warehouse, it is 324, but they are using 1.3 millimeters strings to measure the swing weight, and the stiffness has lowered from the previous 64 or 65 with the ISO to just 63, and compared to the even older version, to the T-Fight RS, which was 67, the jump is quite huge. So let's say 4 points lower stiffness, so the racket is flexible. Once again, the beam is 22.5 millimeters, constantly wide, and the string pattern is once again 18 by 19, which is unique. It gives the racket a nice blend of precision and also spin potential. So the biggest change is the balance and the swing weight, which is now lower compared to the previous generations, and quite significantly. So when we compare it to the previous ISO generation, the swing weight was around 331, and even the older generation, the RS, had swing weight of 333, so now it is around 320. That's a full at least 10 points lower swing weight, which has a huge impact on the manoovrability. When we look at the technology kind of stays the same, like the ISO generation, the previous one. We have there an improved new RS section, which is a redesigned RS section that boosts power by increasing frame stiffness, enlarging the area by 4%. So let's say the throat section nowadays is 4% thicker or bigger, and this helps to maintain the perfect balance of power and control with maximized power. I'm just reading this from the Tecnifibre website. In, let's say, more clear words, the RS section means that the beam at the throat section is made of two versions of a beam we know. So the oval beam, which has more, let's say, power, easy power, and also the boxed beam. So this is a combination of the oval and boxed beam all together. So the beam in the throat section has these 5 sides, and it helps the racket to maintain the perfect balance between power and control. So the next technology is the ISOFlex technology that was also introduced with the previous generation, and it is a technology that is evolving stiffness all around the frame and associated with each strings to uniform the screen and increase tolerance and stability and at impact. So once again, I'm reading it from the Tecnifibre website, but with more clear words. What the ISOFlex technology is doing is that the shorter strings, the cross strings that are kind of attached to the frame, they get stiffer on this part of the frame, and the longer strings get softer, or let's say the frame is softer on the side where there are the longer strings attached to the frame. So it provides a consistent string bed flexibility. So as a result, the player keeps the same speed and precision on centered and off-center hits. And this is something that in the previous generation with the T-Fight ISO really struck me when I was hitting with the racket, that somehow the head works like a hand. So when the ball goes in, it is truly captured by the head. There is a quite long dwell time, and then the ball is just catapulted. It just flies from the racket like crazy. So this is what the ISOFlex technology is doing, that the variable flexibility of the head itself helps the racket to smooth out the off-center hits and to provide a kind of more overall flexible feedback. There is a little problem with this, and it can be a big problem for you that I will talk about in the later points. That there is the one warning point with this type of technology that comes to my mind, and I have also some feedback from some player who responded in a comment under one of my videos. So wait for it. There might be an issue for you when you will hit with the T-Fight 305S for the very first time. So let's talk about the power. I gave this as a, let's say, first big point to talk about when hitting with this racket, because the power from this racket is just insane. So when compared to most of other 98-inch head-sized rackets, the power is really tremendous, but still the racket maintains great control and very good precision thanks to the 18x19 string pattern, but the balls just fly from this racket like crazy. The only issue kind of can be in a situation where you start fighting with the racket. That's a quite weird composition of words, fight with a T-fight. So don't fight with a T-fight, just let the racket do the job. Don't play with a stiff hand, don't try to use a brutal force, because then you somehow ruin the overall experience and how the racket works. So this racket really needs to let it fly and let it do the job. So don't force yourself to use a raw power, because you will ruin the experience. And it doesn't come only from me, it comes also from Pavel, who playtested the racket with me, along with me, and he's a big dude. He's 95 kilo, tall guy, strong guy, and when he tried to somehow kill the ball with the force, then the result was not what he expected. So he lost the control, he lost somehow also the easy power, and he kind of ruined the overall shot when he tried to really push the racket into their limits with his own body weight. So just let the racket fly. So I have strung the racket with a Tecnifibre Razor Soft 1.25, and this string really goes well with this racket, and I believe with most of these types of rackets. Just try the Razor Soft. It's I would say, from my perspective, it's a better string than, for example, an LU Power, because it has a little bit better comfort, it has a little bit of the free power of the softer sensation, and yet it feels crisp and clean, and it has a nice sound, nice pop, very good spin potential. Tension maintenance is also good, so just give this string a shot. And when we talk about precision and control in cooperation with this string, it is really on a high level with the new T-fight, as it was in the previous years and previous generations. But this time there is this enhancement, the boost from the power perspective. So you get precision and control, and also you have more power. So maybe the precision and control is not that good, let's say, compared to some of the other rackets like Blade 98 18x20, but you get more free power and more pop. But again, precision and control on a very good level. So when talking about spin, the 18x19 string pattern is something that more tennis racket companies should put in their rackets, in my opinion, because it nicely blends the precision and spin, and you create the spin in the moment of need, when you need the spin. So the racket is not overspinning the balls, and you can hit flat. It really nicely goes with the flat shots, but whenever you need spin, just put there the spin by yourself, do it how you like it, and the racket just creates the spin for you. So nothing really some tremendous spin or huge spin potential, but it is there when you need it, and that's exactly what I like and what I need from a high level advanced tennis racket. So when I'm talking about the feel and touch, I forgot to mention that the new T-fight is also filled with the foam. So that's also part of the technology, and more of these rackets that are on this level and that they want to perform really well are filled with foam. It's a nice and easy way how to make the racket feel more solid, and also how to mute the unwanted vibrations. And once again, the feel and touch with this racket is really good. It's not excellent, but it is on a very high level. No problems at all with drop shots or any type of more kind of feel sensitive shots, like hitting a small corner or hitting high angled shots. So no problem at all, and I like that the racket is, thanks to the balance, very maneuverable, so also the feel and touch can be really precise and delicate because you are in position and in control of the racket all the time. So my favorite point of this review must be the Manooovrlbity, as always. So the Manooovrlbity with the new T-Fight is just fantastic, and finally also I can use the racket at its full potential for a long period of time. So I truly loved the previous ISO racket, but with a swing weight around 330, 333, 335, it is unusable for me for a longer period of time. So during a tournament or during a team competition where I have to play singles and doubles at the same day, in the same day, so 2 matches. So usually after single, where I can get a very good opponent and I can play for 2-3 hours, I get tired, of course, from that. And then playing a high level doubles and going for the volleys is really difficult with a racket with a high swing weight and with a bad maneuverability. But with this one, the update is so impactful, it has such a huge impact on how you feel and how you control the racket, that now I can really enjoy the racket the whole day. So I can hit with it more and more hours without feeling the fatigue of my arm or the overall, let's say, issues with my arm are not really there. So thanks to this huge change in the balance, now the racket has an excellent maneuverability for a 305 gram unstrung racket. So the comfort with a foam filled racket is always something I truly enjoy. It feels very solid, comfortable. The frame has just 63 RA stiffness, so no problem for me at all. But of course there is this warning point I will mention also later, that somehow these softer rackets can also have a big impact on the overall dwell time of the ball on the racket and on the string pad. And if you keep hitting constantly late, then this can transfer into a discomfort, and you can somehow feel that the racket maybe for you will feel stiff, and actually it's not stiff, but it will feel it is stiff, because when you hit late, of course the damage to your muscles, to your tendons, and to your arm, elbow, shoulder is much bigger compared to proper hitting in front of your body. So there is always a warning point with, and it doesn't matter if it is a soft racket or a stiff racket, it actually can get really bad with a very soft racket when you don't use it properly. So I rate, from my perspective, the comfort as very good with proper strings, of course, like the Razor Soft, but don't take me for that as a, granted. Everyone feels the vibration and the stability of a racket a little bit differently based on his swing path and his shots, his footwork, his preparation, and his overall hitting position. So comfort, good, excellent. I'm not sure about it. When we go to the baseline hitting and serve, this racket truly delivers. So it offers this nice blend of easy power, the whippiness, the stability that you need on the slice shots, and especially on a heavy returns. It is just great. So it always surprises me that this racket has kind of unlimited power and stability and control potential, and you can truly accelerate the racket in any position on the court, which wasn't really there before with the higher swing weight versions of the T-Fight from the previous generations. So when standing on the baseline and hitting a forehand, or it doesn't matter, but mostly forehand behind your back, because you're in a defense and you are defending in some situations, the T-fights didn't deliver the energy back to the ball because it just lacked the whippiness and the maneuverability in the last moment when you are hitting a little bit late and you need to kind of, just whip it with your wrist. You just need to really accelerate the head with your wrist at that defense moment. And now it is there, the ball jumps nicely back in a really kind of easy fashion, and you don't kind of fight with the racket. You don't need to, because there is this kind of trampoline effect and easiness in that. And when we talk about serve, you can really produce some high speed serves with this racket, and also nice kicked serves that are, let's say, more technical. So overall baseline hitting and hitting serve can be really joy with this racket, and it doesn't matter if you use more slice serve or, let's say, spin serve or flatter serve. This racket just delivers. When we look at the volleys and the play on the net, now it is fantastic once again, thanks to the great maneuverability and very good overall stability. And once again, I need to mention, everything what I'm talking about right now, it was there with the previous ISO generation, just the balance was too head heavy, so the racket was unusable for the vast majority of club level and even advanced players. But with this change, the volleys are truly joy to play, to go for them, to react on a high intense volley rallies. It is a joy to create sliced drop volleys, to go forward, kill the ball, just to play more with the racket, just to feel like you are in control of the racket. And once again, the stability isn't that much compromised. I think it's a little bit worse compared to the ISO generation, but it's just slightly worse stability in favor of the overall maneuverability. So switching to this racket, for example, from the Tecnifibre TF40 290, I have also reviewed, by the way, a fantastic stick. Just find the review on my channel. I call the racket a baby pro stock. But when you switch to the T-Fight 305S, it completely transfers your volleys into a way more solid and stable and more powerful and dominant experience. So once again, this racket now is pretty much usable for any type of player starting on the club level, good intermediate players. So volleys and the stability really good, really high. And now let's talk about the warning point, the point you have been waiting for, and I talked briefly about it at the beginning of this review. So I have received a very interesting comment under my T-Fight 305S versus Yonex Percept 97 tennis racket comparison. And this comment was from Ryan T. He, and he wrote, "Funny enough, I've tried both rackets and the Percept 97 is my main. I have 4. Karoo fan here, so I had to try the 305S because I was intrigued by his switch and the great reviews on Tennis Warehouse." So he talks about the Carousel, who is a big YouTube tennis kind of celebrity. This guy is trying to earn his first points on the ATP tour, and he is on a very high level of tennis, and he switched to the T-Fight 305S, and he inspired a lot of his viewers. So he thought that he will just try the racket, and he says, "However, one session in with the 305 and I had instant tennis elbow pain that lasted for 3 to 4 days. It's a stiff racket where you feel every shot, good or bad. Strung with K-pop, my usual string at 50 and 48 pounds. Fairly soft strings, mind you. Instantly I knew this racket wasn't for me. Although I was serving bombs and putting shots away easier. It wasn't worth the pain. With the Percept 97, I slept on a Tecnifibre leather grip to get my static weight to 340 gram. The stability feel and twist weight was greatly increased and I was sorry I ever tried another racket. Lol. No tennis elbow as well. So this comment inspired me to talk about this in this ultimate review because I can feel that also when I'm hitting with the T-Fight, that the stability, this type of stability this racket has is just different compared to, let's say, the Percept 97. So in my opinion, the Percept 97 or the overall the Percept series just feels more solid, like one piece of frame. And the Tecnifibre T-Fight 305S and also the previous ISO generation feels like it is made with like 3 pieces. There are kind of 3 pieces on the racket or 3 places that bend. One place is of course the throat, where every single racket bends. The throat section is there to bend and to create the power, to, let's say, consume the power from the opponent's ball and to create the power back and push the head back to its position. But with the T-Fight and the ISOFlex technology, it looks like the head itself is also bending at 3 positions, which I will show you in the video. And that's why the racket has this type of like wave feel when you hit the ball. So it's like waving in your hand. And this can lead to some discomfort. And he talked about 3-4 days of elbow pain. And that's really weird. That shouldn't happen. Of course, we don't know whether the strings are the cause of this elbow pain, but he used his strings. He says that they are quite soft or fairly soft, 48 pounds. That's not very, stiff string bed. And I don't know what about the strings, the K-pop. I don't know them, but it is his string setup. So there is no reason not to believe that the elbow pain was caused by the racket itself. So I just need to warn you that with all these kind of softer and waving, bending rackets, and also with the Gravity 2025, this can happen. Your arm just isn't prepared or isn't really liking this type of bending. So every arm of every player is different, and I hope that in the future we will see some new indicators when buying a new tennis racket. For example, the frequencies that these rackets produce when you hit the ball, how they really create these vibrations, that you can kind of find your racket also based on this kind of new approach, because sound means vibrations, vibrations means sounds, vibrations, sounds, frequency, and every single body is different, has different sensitivity on the vibration we kind of feel in our body. So that's one warning point. So what are the other options to the new T-Fight 305S? And there are lots of rackets that can kind of mimic the sensation you have, but they are all slightly different, and I believe nothing has the feel and the power control ratio like the T-Fights have. But let's just talk about a few of those rackets that are, let's say, in a similar realm. So from Babolat, it's the Pure Strike 98, the 16 by 19 or 18 by 20. Maybe it is a little bit closer to the 18 by 20 version, but still Pure Strike has more control, and you have to just swing the racket just a lot kind of harder and faster to get the energy from it, and the T-Fight is now easier to use. The closest, in my opinion, to the T-Fight now is Wilson Shift 98. Sorry, Wilson Shift 99, of course. It's not 98, it's 99. It has this sensation like the ball flies. It has tremendous spin potential. It is a fast playing racket, quite easy to use. It is a modern type of control power oriented racket, and it is really probably the closest feeling and playing racket from all of the brands you can find around. Of course, there is this horizontal and vertical bending technology in the Shift, and this racket is like a magic stick that does it all, and that's the T-Fight as well. But probably the T-Fight, from what I have experienced, is just a little bit more solid and more kind of, you can trust the racket a little bit more compared to the Shift, that sometimes it can become unexpectedly, weirdly furious, and not all the shots you really feel where they go. Sometimes it can just shoot everywhere, and that's something I don't still like on the Shift racket. I think that it needs a little bit more refinement. Next, there is the Gravity Tour from Head 2025. It's a very powerful racket with a big sweet spot and also at the same time control thanks to the box beam, but it's a little bit different with the head shape. The launch angle is a little bit higher, so it's not as, I would say, once again, not a racket for a flatter hitting, let's say. More spin friendly racket is the Gravity Tour, but also thanks to the 16 by 20 string pattern, it has this like control in it, so quite close but more kind of flexible feel from the Gravity Tour. And from the other brands we have, of course, the Yonex, the E-Zones, the V-Core 98s, quite similar. Probably the V-Core is maybe a little bit closer to the T-Fight sensation, but T-Fight isn't really a spin racket, so once again there is a little bit of this deviation from the control and precision ratio in the Yonex, E-Zone and V-Core series. From Dunlop, the closest racket is for sure the SX 300 Tour, the 305 gram version. It's the closest contestant, but it's easier, it's lighter to use. I think the balance is also 315 millimeters, but the overall swing weight is under 320, so it's just a little bit easier to use. It feels maybe more like kind of pure aero racket, this type of racket, the SX 300 Tour. So once again, just a little bit different feel. The Dunlops have also a very distinguished and unique feel, so I can truly say it's on a very similar level. And last but not least, the Solinka Whiteout 305 rackets, quite similar but maybe more control in these rackets thanks to the thinner beam. And I didn't play with the Solinka yet, so I can't really say much about them, but people like them a lot, that there is also a lot of power, a lot of stability, control, precision, so it might be also close to the T-Fights, but from my perspective the really closest sensation when hitting with the racket is the Wilson Shift 99. So without further talking, I'm at the end of this video. The last point is the final verdict. So for me, this final verdict is quite easy, because I think that essentially the new T-Fight 305S is a more manageable and easier handling, easier playing easier maneuverable tennis racket, and it's essentially the kind of the same version as the ISO, as the previous racket, that has also a very good pop and very good power and precision level, but it was too hard on my arm, it was too heavy, the swing weight was too high, and this one is a little bit more, or a little bit, is quite a lot more manageable, and that's why I'm rating, and also thanks to the glossy finish, the new T-Fight 305S 2025, 9 points out of 10. Alright, we are at the end of the review. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did enjoy making it and hitting with the new T-Fight 305S. I think it is really a fantastic upgrade, but there is this one warning point, you know, with the comfort that can be, for some players, quite kind of unforgiving, and it can give some, you know, discomfort to your hand. But let's see, try the racket, demo it. It's a fantastic update, one of the best updates in this, you know, last couple of years, and truly update that the T-Fight series deserved, I believe, years ago, but finally Tecnifibre did it, and this racket just proves that the innovation and the leaning towards easier maneuverability is a modern trend that makes sense, because tennis has evolved into a very fast-paced, creative game where anything can happen, and you need to be ready for attack, for defense, for the maneuverability, for improvisation, just everything in one package this racket has. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy tennis, play tennis, watch tennis every time, every day, and don't forget to enjoy the manoooovrlbity. Bye guys.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line!